Get Gutsy, episode number 165 on how I got my first 5 clients when I was a new coach. Welcome to Get Gutsy. I'm your host, Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. A cutting-edge show blending business and spirituality, Get Gutsy serves up a potent blend of stories, lessons, and tips to help you make a massive impact in the world through your soul's work and your inspired life. No more going it alone, no more excuses. The world needs more brave women saying yes to leadership. Are you with me? Good. Let's get gutsy now. Welcome to our Jam with Jenny edition of Get Gutsy. This is a new element to the show that we are bringing out where every Friday we are publishing this Jam with Jenny on the podcast. On Wednesday of every week on my Facebook page, which is called Jenny Fennig, I am connecting with my tribe, with you live. So if you want to come hang with me on Facebook, come on over to my Facebook page. It's called Jenny Fennig, and every Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, I am talking to you about a topic that I know you are curious about, and I am there to serve you, take your questions, be with you, and really, hang out together and go on this journey that we are all on into the next level of your sacred work. And then what we do is we publish the episodes right here on my podcast each Friday. So if you prefer simply tuning into the podcast and listening to the audio, we got you covered. So I wanted to plug you into what this style of connecting is all about. And thank you for being on this Get Gutsy journey with me. It has been extraordinary. We are continuing to go deeper yet higher and saying yes to the leader that you truly are here to be. So without further ado, I introduce you to this fantastic episode of Get Gutsy. It is time to jam with Jenny. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, Jenny Fennig here. So excited to connect with you today on our Jam with Jenny Facebook Live party. This is our weekly soiree where we come together and I share insight, wisdom, some tips on a topic I know that you care about. So today we are talking about how I got my first 5 clients as a brand new coach. And this is a super important concept for you to understand, not just how I got my clients, but how you're going to get your clients. Okay. So everybody who's tuning in here on Facebook, say hi, whether you're watching by replay or you're watching this live right now. I always like to know who I'm talking to. So say hi in the comments. Then I know that you're here. I'm going to open this on my phone because sometimes that's where I need to see the comments. They don't always come through when I am live streaming. Okay, cool. We're here. We are here. We are here. Yay. Okay, I'm turning down my thing. Okay, cool, everybody. So welcome to today's soiree. This is really about client attraction, about doing the work that you came here to do as a coach. So before I even get started, I want to share that I manifested something that I've been wanting for a long time. I feel like I've been in this manifestation phase, and it's really fascinating that the things that you want just start showing up and then keep showing up. So I live in a town called Great Barrington in Massachusetts. We're in Western Massachusetts. And we have this artist here. Her name is Marilyn Kalish. And I have been admiring her work for years. I go into my favorite French cafe, and some of her work is there. I go into the place where I get my hair done, and her work is in this really awesome spa and salon. And I look at her paintings and I'm like, one day I'm going to have one of those paintings. I'm going to own one. Like, it's going to be mine. And last weekend, I was at a really great event at my daughter's school. It's my son's former school. And it's basically, they have an annual fair, a handcraft fair. And as part of this fair, they have a beautiful silent auction. Like the silent auction room is off the hook. There's such great things in there. And this is really the first year I've been able to go into the silent auction room, because usually my husband travels on weekends. I'm with the kids alone, and I just can't bring the kids into this room because there's a lot of breakable things. There's just like amazing things in here. I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't think about what I want to bid on and all that kind of stuff. This year I could do it because my dad was visiting, and I'm going through kind of looking at all the options, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what was there but a Marilyn Kalish piece of art? It wasn't the giant canvases, but it was something beautiful that caught my attention. I bid on it, and guess what, y'all? I won. I won. So here it is. It's this beautiful piece of art. I believe it's called Dancer. There's some gold on it. This is like her work. It's very whimsical. It's very like free, and it's women, it's art about women. And I absolutely love it. So I have my first ever Marilyn Kalish piece of art. I'm thinking about, I've got to get it framed, and I'm thinking about putting it behind my desk, because I often will do, like when I do my webinars and calls with my clients, I have a different computer, and I face it in a different direction. So anywho, I wanted to share this piece with you just because I'm really excited. I love being able to, support my kids' school with this fundraiser. It's my daughter's at this point because we homeschool my boys. But I'm also honoring a woman with her art, and believing that we're allowed to have what we want. We're allowed. And so this is a whole kind of story that I needed to tell you before I dive into how I got my first 5 clients as a new coach. And hey, everybody who's tuning in. Hi, Jess. Hey, Shayna. Hey, Maria. Everybody else who's here, say hi in the comments to know that you're here. All right. So 10 years ago, I quit my last corporate job. I live streamed about that last week, and it's been a wild journey. I discovered coaching a few weeks into my unemployment. And I realized this was the path that I needed to be on. And I joined a coach training in early 2008. And it was straight away that I just started putting myself out there and working with clients, because I knew I had found the work that I was here to do. Does this resonate with you all? I know we have a lot of coaches here. I'm guessing some of you, want to be on this road, or you're kind of like dabbling in it, but you're not quite sure what moves you want to be making to attract in those clients that you're meant to serve. So straight away, I knew that I was meant to be a coach, and I wasn't going to wait until I finished my training or I felt like 8,000% confident to start working with clients. I was going to begin, because the way I was going to get stronger as a coach, the way I was going to grow a business that was legit and sustainable, was to begin and to trust that the gifts I was given by God, by the experiences that I had had up to that point in my career, was enough to get me moving. And certainly my willingness to invest in trainings, working with coaches, working with guides, being a part of programs was going to absolutely position me for success. So what I did straight away was, and I still do it to this day, is to share my excitement about being on this road. I love being a coach. If you love being a coach, if you love helping people, type yes in the comments. I want to see the excitement. I want to feel the excitement. That's something that I love to do here on these Facebook Lives. And y'all know that we publish this to my podcast too. Each week, my podcast is called Get Gutsy. So however you're listening to this, I'm glad that you're listening today. I'm glad that you're tuning in. So I was sharing my excitement. I would be anywhere sharing my excitement. I'd be at a friend's birthday party, and I would share, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. I recently quit my job. I discovered this field of coaching after I finished my yoga teacher training. I am loving the work that I'm doing with clients. I'm so grateful to work with people in this way. And from that, I remember a friend's birthday party in particular. That's how I got a client. This woman was like, I want to work with you. I need your help. And I was like, Okay. And so then there's the whole process of following up. You're not like signing the client right there at the birthday party. There's a whole nuance to what happens next. But I was simply sharing my excitement. Okay. And so once you do that, that excitement just spreads. People want to feel excited about life. They want to feel excited about their future. They want to feel excited about their choices, and they want to work with somebody on their team who is equally as excited. You know what it's like when you are collaborating with somebody and they're just kind of like a buzzkill? You know, they're just like, "Rah." You know, if you've ever worked on a team and you had that person, you just knew they weren't really happy to be there. They weren't really excited to be doing the work. Well, you don't want to be that person in somebody's life. They already have enough of that going on. When you have love in your heart, when you're excited about what you do, you've got to share that, and you share that with everybody, not because you're trying to sell them on working with you, but because you're just a positive person. You are loving what you have found that is your work, okay? If you're anything like me, it took you a while to figure out that this was even a thing. I didn't even know that coaching was a thing. I had been doing this all of my life, being that positive one, being that the motivator, being the cheerleader, being the person that people came to troubleshoot, to help them through issues, to brainstorm, to come up with ideas, to come up with solutions to situations. I had been doing that my entire life, for as far back as I can remember. I mean, gosh, I was even doing this in my, personal situations with certain family members, certain friends. It just came so naturally to me. And all of my history, all of my backstory set me up perfectly for this path. I'm so grateful, even for all the hard shit that's happened. So you've got to share your excitement. And that's certainly something that I did straight away to get clients. My first ever client came because I followed my confidence, and I trusted that there was this one particular person in my life who I knew needed my help right then. And this was a woman I met in my yoga teacher training. I trained to become a yoga teacher in late 2007, and I became friendly with a lot of the women who were in my training, but one in particular. She was going through a big transition in her life. Her career was in major kind of transition and some turmoil. A long-term relationship had ended, and she was really in a tough place. And we had bonded through our yoga teacher training, and I was looking for my first pro bono client. At that point in early 2008, I was in my coach training, and I reached out to her and I said, listen, as you know, I've started on this coach training road. I'm so excited to be doing this work. It blends so beautifully into what we did in yoga teacher training. And this is, a better container for me to go out and help people. And I want to help you. I know that you're going through massive transition right now. I'm going to take on one pro bono client to work with for free for 3 months. What you've got to do, if you say yes, is to show up and be an amazing client. You've got to do the work. You've got to show up on time for our calls. You've got to commit to doing the assignments that we agree on during your sessions. And you simply have got to be, an amazing client, and trust in this process and trust in me as your coach and your guide. Are you in? And she was like, absolutely. I said, and here's the deal. If after that 3 months you want to continue working with me, I will tell you what the investment will be to hire me as your coach. And she was like, great. And that got me off the ground. That got the business off the ground. At the end of the 3 months, she didn't immediately convert in being a paid client, but soon after that, she did. She scored a really cool opportunity. She was a performer, an actress, and a Broadway performer. She scored a gig for a show in Vegas. It was like Mamma Mia in Vegas. And so I was working with her at that time to really help her navigate how she was going to stay at that new level in her career. And, it's been many, many years since her and I worked together, but I see what's going on in her life. She's now happily married. She has a few kids. She's still performing. She's doing her work. And I'm so grateful that I followed my intuition. I followed my just a love in my heart that I had for this woman. And I offered up my services to her pro bono. And so the key with that, though, it was a very clear container. It wasn't like, I'll just coach you for free forever. It was like 3 months. Here's the deal. You've got to be a great client. You've got to show up. You've got to do the work. You got to trust me. You got to trust the process. And so I was establishing myself as a professional straight out of the gate. This wasn't like a little hobby that I was just kind of dipping my toes into. I was serious that this was going to be a business. And so you've got to do that too as you're growing your coaching business. This is certainly what I help my people do. You may know that I have my own coaching school. We're going to be opening up enrollment for that in the next few weeks. Those of you who are on our wait list, you're going to get an opportunity to come in before we open it up to the general public. So if you want to get on our wait list for our coaching school, go to coachtrainingschool.com. We have the best school around for spiritual coaches who want to make a difference and a great living. It's called Get Gutsy Coach Training School, and it kicks ass. I mean, just legit. I ain't going to beat around the bush on that one. So coachtrainingschool.com is where you can hop on that wait list. All right. So I talked to you about sharing your excitement. I talked to you about, for those of you who don't yet have paying clients, like identify, who you'd want as a pro bono client. I know people, a friend of mine who is going to be included in a really great new resource that I'm going to be sharing with you next week. It's an ebook that I'm putting together called The Path to Consistent 5-Figure Months as a Coach. One of my friends who's included in there, the way she got her business off the ground was that she said she was going to take on 5 pro bono clients and coach them for free for 1 month. And she shares this in the ebook that after that first month, 3 of those 5 became paying clients. Okay. So it was kind of like what I did, but she upped the ante with the number, and then she gave them 1 month instead of 3. Okay. And it worked. It worked. There's a lot of different ways to get to where you want to be. The idea is that you've got to take action. You've got to choose an approach and you've got to go for it. All right. So the whole a free concept could work for you, but again, you've got to have that container built. You've got to have this limiter on it. So I'm like, well, I'll just coach you for free until you don't want to do it anymore. I get sick of it. It's just very clear. So they know that you're legit, you're taking it seriously, and then they get a certain period of time. And then in that period of time, they get some amazing results. And they're like, I want to keep working with you. How can I do that? And then at that point, you have packages, you have some kind of program you can offer to them, some sort of invitation, and you have a way of receiving that money and getting to work, continuing to do the work with these amazing clients who want to be served by you. The other way that I was getting my clients back in those early days, this is back in 2008, all right, which feels like a lifetime ago, y'all, ain't gonna lie. And great to see everybody who's joining. Darlene, Martina, Stacy, Tori, Sherry, awesome. Thanks so much for being here today. Say hi in the comments, send over your favorite emoji. Tell me how you're feeling. Give me some energy. Give me some stuff. Give me some love. All right, another way that I did back then that works, it will always work. This is always a way of being in business. Good old word of mouth. Good old word of mouth. Now listen, there are some amazing tools these days, technology tools. I use a lot of them in my business. And back when I was getting going, I wasn't using any of that. I was using social media very limited because I had just kind of gotten onto Facebook. I wasn't like the Facebook queen that you may see me as now. I love Facebook. And at the time I kind of joined it kicking and screaming. I was like, what else? When I was in corporate, I was like, I don't need another thing. And now it's a huge piece of the way that I connect with my audience, with my tribe, with you. I'm so grateful for Facebook. But when I was getting started, it was good old word of mouth. I didn't have a website or an email list for the first 18 months of my business. Okay. So don't think that just because you might not have one of those elements or both of those elements that you can't be coaching people and that you can't have some wins straight away. You can. The way I did it back then was I had some really pretty and classy high-end business cards printed and designed. And I really believed in the power of those cards. Now I have to tell you, I don't even have business cards. But at the time I did. and I needed them because I didn't have an online footprint. I didn't have like a digital spot I could send them to. And so I used these business cards, and I would, pass them out to people who would ask. And I did a lot of personal outreach, just following up. Again, just sharing what I was doing, sharing how excited I was. And when people would express their interest, I would follow up, and I would set up a time to connect with them. These are called discovery calls, enrollment conversations. I don't know if I even had an application process back then. I do now. I won't get on the phone with somebody unless they fill out an application, and I only do enrollment for my high-level programs a couple times a year. But when I was a newer coach, and certainly for my new coaches who come through my coaching school, I give them the guidance to set up an application that your prospects can fill out. It doesn't have to be super long, but something that gives you some guidance, some information on who these people are, so you can decide if you want to even work with them. There's some people you're just like, I am not a fit for them. I'm not a fit. You can just feel their energy. So I'm a big fan of the application. And then you get on the phone with those who you feel like you would like to help them, and they are ready to receive the level of support that you offer. And then you make those invitations on those calls where you feel like, yeah, I am the coach for them and they're the client for me. And so I was doing that. I was doing a lot of these calls. I was making invitations. I had packages ready to sell, and I had ways for me to collect the money. Back then it was PayPal. PayPal's still great. I know sometimes it can get a little sketchy, because if you start earning, high amounts with PayPal, they don't always give you your money right away. So you do want to look into what kind of payment processors you have on board for your business, which is definitely something we look at for those who join my coaching school. But you have to have a way to receive the money and receive the clients. All right. So word of mouth is huge. When you're good at what you do, that word will travel. And then you have to have a way of receiving these prospects, vetting how qualified somebody is to work with you, and then making invitations to those who you feel like it's a fit for, and then doing the work, having a way to receive that money, and having the systems to support the deep work that you do with your clients. Absolutely. Another critical piece that I want to share with you that I did in that first year of me being in business as a new coach was I led in-person groups. Now, again, I wasn't like super into tech. I started leading these new groups. Actually, it was about 1 year, a little less than a year into me becoming a coach. I started my coach training, I want to say it was March 2008. And I started leading my first new mom support group. Maybe that was like in March or April, or maybe sometime that summer. My months are getting unclear, of 2009. I'd become a new mom in January of 2009. And because I am wired as an entrepreneur, I am wired as a problem solver and as a helper, I realized that there was a major need in my market of New York City and the Upper West Side specifically to offer up support for new moms. And I had connected with an organization who had a following, who had an audience of moms who appreciated and invested in getting support and creating connections with like-minded, like-spirited mothers. And I offered up this idea of leading new mom support groups because they hadn't been doing this in their organization, but I knew that I could do it, and I knew that I was excited to do it. And I really just took that on as a project and something that I was committed to seeing through to fruition. And I did. I was told by the organization, don't be upset if the first group doesn't take off. Sometimes it takes time for, a new offering to gain traction. But anyone who knows me knows that when there's something that I want and I believe in, I go after it 100%. And I did. Even though I had this new baby at home, I was doing freelance consulting work in my former life as I was building my coaching business. That's also a critical point to make. I knew that this was a piece of my journey. And so I started leading these new mom support groups. The first one sold out, and then we started more. We offered more. They were like 6-week series that we would offer to moms, and we would fill them. By the time I left that organization, that work about a year later, because we moved from New York to the Berkshires of Western Massachusetts, there were more than 10 groups a week going. I had brought on other facilitators to lead some of these groups in other neighborhoods with other topics. And it was my passion for doing that field work and bringing women together that showed me the power of working in Sacred Circle, and showed me the power of bringing women together to be honest and to commit to going on this journey together versus alone struggling. And that groundwork that I laid way back when in 2000, I did those groups in 2009 and 2010, half of 2010, absolutely has led to the premium programs that I lead with groups of, high level women who come either into my coaching school or into my mastermind Glow. It was because I was willing to do that work on the ground in my local community. So wherever you live, is there an opportunity for you to do some on the ground, what I call field work? Really get a flavor for your community, for your audience. Certainly the online stuff is fabulous, and I love being able to work online. But that in-person work, especially when I was a newer coach, was so crucial. And I share this with many of my clients and students. Hey, get out there and see how you can serve in person. It'll make you a better speaker, a better leader, a better coach, a better human, to know how to be with people in a room and not just through a screen. You see what I'm saying? So those are some insights that I wanted to be able to share with you today on how I got my first 5 clients as a new coach. I will say that a number of women who were in those support groups for moms, and the groups evolved from me leading new mom groups to working mom support groups to entrepreneur mom support groups, which was really my first mastermind that I led. And I was like, oh my God, this is the group that I really want to serve. Many of those clients, many of those women in those groups became coaching clients. In fact, one of the women in that group, she became the first client to ever hire me for an entire year and pay for the year upfront in advance. And when this happened, it was like her former company was paying me to coach her because she was exiting out of that organization. I almost fell out of my chair. She was like, Jenny, I want to know what it would cost to hire you for an entire year, because my company is going to pay for it. And I want to work with you for a year. And I was just like, okay, this is awesome. Now I got to price that. Now I got to develop that package. So it was, again, by my willingness to put myself out there, to deal with like, how do I do this? And what if people don't think that I'm qualified to lead a new mom support group when I've only been a new mom for like 5 months, right? And I just knew. And, something that I've learned along the way is God doesn't call the qualified. God qualifies the called who say yes. And so you've got to say yes. You've got to take that next right step and simply trust, especially when teachers come across your path, when opportunities come across your path, say yes. I've been in this field for close to 10 years now. I am passionate about helping coaches. I am passionate about helping you see that coaching is such a powerful path to get you to where you want to be. Those of you who are writers, you're speakers, you're spiritual teachers, coaching is that container that will allow you to live a freedom-based life, and it will allow you to touch lives all over the planet. So again, make sure on my wait list, if you want to learn more about Get Gutsy Coach Training School, that's coachtrainingschool.com. You need to get on now, because I'm about to start the dialogue with my waitlisters and let you in on a very, very juicy invitation to be a part of our next class, which begins in January of 2018. All right. We already have several women signed up, and we're going to have a kick-ass powerhouse crew of women. And I want you in if you are feeling this call. The other thing I want to invite you to do is grab my sacred map and meditation to help you attract soulmate coaching clients. I've been sharing this. You might have seen Facebook ads around this. You can go to jennyfennig.com/clients to grab that. jennyfennig.com/clients, totally free for you. And the last thing that I want to ask, it's an ask, is to hit the share button once you stop watching this video. If you're watching this on Facebook, share this with your community. Just hit share. If this video was helpful to you, if you feel like there are people in your world who need to hear this message, then share it with your community. I would be very, very grateful. I am Jenny Fenig. I am here to help coaches be all they were designed to be and to truly help those who are looking for your help right now. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Jenny Fenig sending you so much love, light, and faith as you get gutsy. I will see you next time.